If it wasn't for the man upstairs, I wouldn't have made it. I'm glad that I changed my life, I upgraded. Traps that I've been in, walked out, I made it. Snares I done been in, walked out unscathed in. No time for playing. Every single fraction goes in for thanking. Giving up praise, thinking, running my mind thinking, long as I'm not sinking. Gotta keep your eyes on the main goal. You can do anything that you aim for. All of these things in your reach, shouty. Spud web, get the ducking on the lead, shouty. I was last, now I'm leader of the team, shouty. I forgive you, but you can't do nothing for me. Watch me do my Carmelo breaking ankles. Yeah, I'm so thankful.
Sometimes you just got to be thankful.
I'm so thankful, you know.
Thankful. Sometimes you just got to be thankful.
And that was Born Bishop out of Detroit, Michigan. Shout out to Born Bishop. Next up, we got out of New Jersey. This is Nucci Rayo with Wise.
Je t'aime parce que je vois que tu travailles en silence. C'est sage.
I work in silence every day. I work in silence every day. So much I never say. So much I never say. I work in silence every day. I work in silence every day. So much I never say. So much I never say. They criticize every post, the ones doing the least, minimize you the most. Look at that. I sympathize with you both. I realize it's hard to cut ties when you close. I know it's hard. I got baptized, adios. You reach goals, they never realize what I gross. They don't know. How I ride like a ghost. No pride, I don't brag, I don't boast. Cause if they don't know what you're doing, they don't know what they're ruin. So I ain't posting my business, even though business is booming. Cause if they don't know what you're doing, they don't know what they're ruin. So I ain't posting my business, even though business is booming. I work in silence every day. I work in silence every day. So much I never say. So much I never say. I work in silence every day. I work in silence every day. So much I never say. So much I never say. Broke folk kill your ambition. You was working when they was wishing. I try to drop jewels, they don't listen. It's funny when a fool's neck glistens. Before they even start dissing, I'm already on to the next mission. They never realize what I'm risking. They just notice that I'm distant. Cause if they don't know what you're doing, they don't know what to ruin. So I ain't posting my business, even though business is booming. Cause if they don't know what you're doing, they don't know what to ruin. So I ain't posting my business, even though business is booming. I work in silence every day. I work in silence every day. So much I never say. So much I never say. I work in silence every day. I work in silence every day. So much I never say. So much I never say.
J'aime ça, continuer à travailler en silence.
The doers don't say, and the sayers don't do. That saying is so true. I hate to say I told you so, but I'ma say it to the old crew. Don't mention me with anything little, and I don't giggle at your riddles. Y'all have a good time on your long journey to the middle. I work in silence every day. I work in silence every day. So much I never say. So much I never say. I work in silence every day. I work in silence every day. So much I never say. So much I never say.
And that was Nucci Rayo out of New Jersey. Next up, we got from the north of the border. This is Didactic out of Windsor, Ontario, Canada, with It's Why.
All right, class. Today's topic is the radical corruption of humanity. There are many ways we see this in our lives that could be shared, but here are some examples to help you get started on your assignment. Posted that comment, got flack for it, then took it off. It's why we always want what we can't have. Why we parade pride, why we got greed and wrath. Gluttony, sloth, and lust, it's why we need laws. Why we're fatally flawed, like allowing abortion and not fetal abduction. Yeah, it's why we're inconsistent. It's why we'd give up on eternity for 15 minutes. It's why we love gossip, yeah, we got bones in our closets. Why there's poison everywhere, why there's corruption for profit. It's why we think we're basically good enough for heaven, and compare ourselves to worse people like killers or felons. It's why we all live life in 2 dimensions. It's why we have to wonder about true intentions. Why we got secret agendas like the government. Why there's a problem of evil, pain and suffering. It's why we want to rule the world. Why there's revolution armies. Why Illuminati wants my mind, soul, and my body. Why a sinister force attacks me inwardly. Why we naturally deny God like vaccine injury. The heart is dark and needs to be restrained. We follow it and that is why we ache. No one is good, no, we are all depraved. It's why. Born dead and blind, through him we can see straight. The Holy One who didn't see decay. From the wages of sin you can be saved. It's why. It's why we learn the hard way. Why we don't weigh the stakes. Why we don't learn from history and repeat the same mistakes. It's why we built the atomic bomb and had blasts that were massive. It's why we won't learn from our past to get past it. It's why husbands are passive, so we blame shift. Why fathers are absent, so God the Father's dismissed. It's why I don't have to teach my baby boy to disobey. Why he will want his own way. It's why criminals slip away. Why we got death and disarray, despair, destruction and disease. Depression, drug addiction, disorder, disbelief. Why we're told it's all about us. Why we boast in self. Why we feel empty and think having the most will help. It's why we still want fame as we watch you wreck lives. It's why we think it's joking when we disrespect wives. It's why we got a debt that we could never pay up. Why Christians give Christ a bad name like Nevaeh. Why I went by the name of Scale, raising hell. Why we can change ourselves and don't want to wear patience so well or laying in jail. That's why to err is human. Why instead of forgiving people we'd rather scare and soothe them. Why teachers have affairs with students. It's why we're naughty by nature, down with OPP and temporary pleasures that we wholly see. It's why we get one more chance like B.I.G. and faith. It's why God sent his son and he died in our place. The heart is dark and needs to be restrained. We follow it and that is why we ache. No one is good, no, we are all depraved. It's why. But God pursued us even before we strayed, to renew his image in us we taint. through the one who defeated the grave. It's why.
I'm introducing the reason, the comma in the sentence where we committed the treason. Yeah, that's why we risk it all to reach him. Only empowered by the spirit leading, that's freedom. New page, sign my name on the dotted line. Truth saves, without his grace, I am my demise. Conviction showing me that God is with me. This faith of mine is a waste of time in the eyes of many. I'm just trying to reflect this image in the time he lends me. And boldness, hope and revolution revives the city. Yeah, that's why I'm carried by the word, throw my burden to the sky. Serving him with purpose, cause he's working, I'm alive. I was a product of the evils lurking, I survived. My attitude is just gratitude unchained. What's understood doesn't need to be explained. God.
The heart is dark and needs to be remade. Following it is the reason we ache. No one is good, no, we've all misbehaved. It's why. The heart's the problem, not just how we raise. We all live with the choices that we make. Would you want your life to be replayed? It's why.
And that was Didactic out of Windsor, Ontario, Canada with It's Why. Right now we're going to just take a small little break from the music and continue to celebrate Black History Month. Now, Black History Month, if I'm not mistaken, it started in February 3rd or something like that. And it runs to about the 3rd of March, or the 1st of March, sorry. So it started the 1st of February to the 1st of March. But since, we had a couple of, last week we have our special guest, Bunny. 2 weeks ago, we were unable to be on air due to technical difficulties and the weather. It was freezing cold outside. It was just a mess. But we wanted to continue to celebrate Black History Month with just one more honorary person. When we started this, we honored Jackie Robinson, who was the first, if you recall, the first ever black or African American baseball player in the major leagues and Major League Baseball. Today, we're going to be talking about another person that made a huge impact when it came to African Americans. And what better way than to celebrate Black History Month than by paying tribute to this person right here? And it's none other than Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman was an American abolitionist, I think that's how you say it, and political activist. She was born into slavery. Tubman escaped and subsequently made some 13 missions to rescue approximately